Hello, everyone. Joining me today is Kimberly Ann, CEO of Lahontan Gold Corp, a U.S.-focused junior mining company developing in the Santa Fe project in Nevada's Walker Lane, one of the most active gold jurisdictions in the country. Kimberly brings a strong capital markets background to the role, having raised over $200 million throughout her career and led multiple transactions across the mining sector. At Lahontan, she's focused on advancing a multi-million ounce gold and silver resource while navigating the realities of permitting, financing, and ultimately building a path towards production. Kimberly, welcome to Off Road.
Thank you for having me, Frank.
All right, all right. And our co-host today is Andrea Cataneo. Andrea, welcome.
Oh, thank you
Hello.
so much. Hello, Kimberly. Delighted to have you. And met Kimberly, I don't know, seems like about a year ago, but it feels like we've known each other for a decade. So impressed with this woman. And I don't mean to gush, but it's rare to find a CEO of a public company who's as accomplished and who's a woman. And we need to change that. But let's get to know Kimberly a little bit better. I think our audience is going to be quite impressed with what this woman is all about and what she's doing with this company.
I tell you something, we were just talking
Record.
Pre-show.
And
Pre-show.
it was just great conversation. I really enjoyed it. So let's get into it. What do you think the actual path to production looks like, Kimberly? I mean,
It's quite simple. I've been in this industry for 15, 16 years, not that long, but I've had a lot of companies, and the path to production for this company is so much simpler than others. Like most junior to mid-tier companies, a lot of them are focused on finding how many ounces are in the ground. And I literally am a simple businesswoman. I believe that cash flow first, as quick as you can get it. We can always figure out how romantic and big it can be. I don't fall in love with an asset. I fall in love with making money. And what gets me really excited about the day-to-day is having an amazing team on the ground that is treated like family. We're one big team, which is why we're always so successful. And the Santa Fe mines are past producers, so we're literally methodically taking it back into production in the best jurisdiction in the world, according to Fraser Report, not just me. And next year, we're going to be breaking ground, pouring gold. My goal is to launch this to New York Stock Exchange so that more Americans and the globe has better access to this story. I'm an American. I know that it's quite challenging from that front when you're listed in Canada. We do have a listing in the US, but it's not the NYSE. The path forward is super bright. We have two other fantastic assets. And I think it's when you have a story so simple and you're just methodically executing, if you pay attention, it's just not that hard to want to invest in something so special as this. And I absolutely love what I do. Every day I wake up excited of what I'm doing the next day. And it's always an adventure because lots of surprises in mining. Everything you try to do to mitigate it, something else comes. There's lots of curveballs. So I don't play baseball, but I feel like I should at this point.
You've got a significant amount of resources at Santa Fe.
Yeah, we do.
Like over a million plus ounces.
Yeah, we have 2 million on paper. That it's actually a lot more than that. In 3 to 4 weeks, we'll be updating the market the next phase of how big it is. It's just getting really exciting. We've had a lot of momentum. We have massive liquidity. So yeah, it's a project. And look, it was a mine for 6 years back when gold was $340, and somehow they were making money back then. So our margins right now, our cash costs all in our studies are between $1,150 to $1,200. It's great gold and silver is going up, but this is a sustainable project till the end of time. So it's going to print money. So
yeah, so
that's what I like about it.
And those in the know recognize that. People who understand and who have seen the reserve reports understand what you have here. Could you give some of our listeners and downloaders are not that familiar with what's all included in Lahontan Gold? Could you give us kind of an indication, because it's massive?
Yeah, Frank introduced me as the CEO, but I'm actually the founder, president, CEO, and executive chair for a reason. I put into my own assets to this company, my own money into this company, along with my business partner, Brian Marr. So we're highly leveraged in making this company successful. To record date, I've never lost my own money. So I think when people are looking at specific companies, they should look at companies that there's literally skin in the game, that that you should care about when you're looking at a management team. But yeah, so we have very high quality assets in Nevada. We've been working in Nevada on other private companies for a very long time. Our West Santa Fe asset, it's 13 kilometers away. You're across the road, truckable ounces, very low cost. We got this asset for. So that's coming online. I have 3 drill rigs turning. Like usually when you're permitting a mine, there's a lot of hurry up and wait, nothing's happening. That's absolutely not the case with us because we have 2 other fantastic assets that we're drilling out and bringing to the front line of showing people what it can be and proving that out through permitting, everything else. It's a fantastic story. This whole year is such a pivotal year for all of our assets, and people like news flow. When you're silent, people get nervous. So even when we can't put out press releases on technical data, I'm out in the field. For example, I was out in the field last week when I'm home, and now I'm going out in the field on Friday for one last stop before I run off to Europe to market to European shareholders. So I think knowledge is powerful, and as long as you're continuing to communicate what's happening, I call it laying out the breadcrumbs of how we get to the finish line, which is building it. It's a no-brainer from that standpoint.
There's a lot of stories coming out of the mining stories and whatnot. What makes you different from the other 100 Nevada stories?
Andrea can attest that I am unfortunately one of 3 or 4 women CEOs in the industry. I'm the only founder that I know of. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm in multiple businesses. This is just one of my lovely companies. But Nevada as a whole is an amazing place to work. There's lots of great assets. But I can tell you, I am very confident that this checks every box. It's got infrastructure. We have road access all year round. We have 3 wells on the property that we own all the water rights, which is king in Nevada. We have a substation that was put in back in the day, which is unheard of. So low cost electricity. It's literally turnkey minus the permit right now. So that permit is coming. And there's other assets in Nevada that are good, but they're not as far down the line. We've been paying our dues for 3.5 years, literally paying our dues to get this asset to where it sits today. I will go up against any CEO and say we still have the best asset in Nevada because I do have a big familiarity with Nevada as a whole, because when I used to work for a debt fund called Waterton. My boss was obsessed to investing and funding not mines, but projects in Nevada. So I'm keenly aware of all of them, and I would pick this one all day long before any other one if I was going to go buy an asset right now. So I think that speaks loud to the market when I've worked in Nevada for my whole career.
And from your experience, what are the top 2 or 3 mistakes mining companies make that prevent them from ever reaching production?
Oof, there's a lot of them. A lot of our CEOs in our industry are engineers or geologists, and maybe it's just how I'm so methodical when I look at a business. I think they fall in love with I think there's a lot of falling in love with assets. And yeah, you can like an asset, but I say to my geos when they're so excited about a rock, I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, is it or waste? Because if it's waste, I don't want to even talk about this. I don't care about that. I care about the bottom line and how to get there. That's one thing. Underestimating the risk and all the mitigation you have to do as far as dewatering, all the technical stuff. There's lots of things that come up in mining, but when you're working with an asset like this that was open pit, heap leachable, it's the simplest style of mining you can do, and it's been mined for 6 years with a perfect track record. It's not that hard to see the pathway without having a lot of risk involved. So there's a lot of risk always in mining, but not for this specific asset.
Thanks. You were mentioning before when we were talking that you were trading in Canada, but now you want to enter the US markets, perhaps a New York Stock Exchange listing, which would be fantastic for the company. It's huge exposure, huge awareness. What are you doing to try to get those steps in order? Are you doing anything?
Yeah, I've do some shows with Jane King at New York and at NASDAQ, and I talk all the time. This is just one of many that I do, but I recognize the fact of one, I'm American, and I know that it's very challenging for Americans to have access to investing in junior mining that is on the TSX feed.
Sure.
I have an OTC listing. I don't actually even understand what it gives us except for volume and stock. Frank, unless you have a Canadian account, you can't invest in a private placement with our company. So I think that really stops Americans for wanting to invest in mining. And I don't think they actually understand mining as much as in Canada. When you go into any bar, anything in Canada, there's hockey on and there's mining on. Always in every bar.
I did not know that. I did not.
Oh my
know,
gosh.
did
Yeah,
not
you
know
told
that.
me that, and I find that fascinating.
Yeah,
I
no,
really do.
literally, I'm on so many different shows in Canada. I can't keep it straight. And you'll literally see, I'll have people calling me or texting me pictures of, oh, I'm watching this hockey game and you're on the other TV. That's how everybody knows it. And so we don't have that in the US. And when I do interviews in the US, I have to methodically tell myself, okay, I'm speaking to a market that doesn't understand what we actually do because it is quite a crazy industry. So I talk more on a high level, which is great, fine, but we need more educated investors in the US, but until there's access for them, we won't have that. And so my goal for the New York is exactly that. I think being an educator of what the industry is and giving real stories and proof of success stories is how people can start tiptoeing in because everybody wants gold. I can't get enough of buying visible gold, physical gold right now. I'm buying coins at trade shows when I'm there for gold and silver. Everybody wants physical gold, but right now the big opportunity is in this space right now in the junior to the development side because when you're talking to the big dogs like Newmont and Barrick, okay, what you'll make it maybe a 2-bagger, maybe if you're lucky, you can make 30-50 times your money on a junior. It's just investing in a small tech company, right? It's a startup type situation, a lot of them. And you got to pick your realm of things. But how I always invest is I pick the team that has gotten it done before, jurisdiction, how big can it be? These are just my personal check off the list before I'll put money
Big
into
business.
any company, tech or whatever. And I do the same thing in tech. And the other component I do, I go, okay, I know this guy's a winner, i.e. Apple, okay, or NVIDIA. And then I figure out what makes them tick, who are their neighbors, and I buy all of them around it. They're not all going to be winners, but somebody's going to be. That's just
You're
my
hedging
weird
your bet.
personal
I want to
investment.
ask you a little bit more about this
Yeah.
education because who better than you, the gold girl, which I understand is being trademarked, to educate people about not only the business of being in the gold space, but you're talking about educating people about business. Everything you're talking about
Yeah.
right now, you're bringing business fundamental analysis into every decision that you make. And everybody could use that education. So the fact that you're bringing that forward, and as the gold girl, tell us a little bit about what that plan is going to be, because really, who better than you?
Already listed on an exchange but feel lost among companies clamoring for media attention? Tired of going from city to city hoping your story will find its way to the global market? If so, Corporate Roadshow has the answer. Quick, affordable, and without all the road trips. We are the perfect choice for promising public companies looking to gain exposure as a public entity. It all starts with a top-flight presentation. You've worked hard to create an exciting product or service. Now it's time to impress the capital markets with a professionally produced video presentation at corporateroadshow.com. We help you select the production format that's right for you. It may be a one-on-one interview with top management, or a presentation in front of business professionals, or a video conference interview. Whichever way you go, rely on corporateroadshow.com to execute the arrangements to perfection. We professionally videotape and edit your presentation. Then we add eye-catching graphics and music, then digitize the video for broadcast on corporateroadshow.com. Think about it. An exciting corporate presentation targeted to the global business community. And you get a digitized version of that presentation, which enables you to email your presentation to any database you choose. We at Corporate Roadshow pride ourselves on possessing the creativity and know-how necessary for the production of quality video presentations. Whether it be hosting your video or producing a webcast in the latest broadband technology, Corporate Roadshow is dedicated to applying our tools and talents toward facilitating the exchange of your ideas. It all adds up to global exposure, all courtesy of corporateroadshow.com. Go to www.corporateroadshow.com today and see for yourself. With corporateroadshow.com, you get worldwide exposure for your company without traveling the world, and it's all just a mouse click away.
That's it's evolving right now as life every day is about the journey, but it really started. I always go to New York to do interviews, and the traders always call me the Gold Girl. They nickname me that, and so I said I need to trademark that because I need to do something with that. And people have always asked me like, you need to start doing more speaking spots. We need to hear how you got into mining. Are you a geologist? And I always laugh when people ask me that. I'm like, do I look like a geologist? No, I'm not a geologist. I'm just a business person. I've had a gazillion businesses, but what people always continue to tell me is you need to start educating people. And I have always done that in my life, but I just haven't figured out how there's a platform for that. And now I'm starting to hone in that, look, yeah, maybe I pulled something off that other people haven't by being in this industry. My dad always told me when at 10 years old, he told me, if you work for someone else, you're a failure. And I took that to heart. And so every company that I have, I start because I know I can be successful if I start the company, right? I know I have control of its destiny, and I'm a very proud person. I'm very competitive. So for me, it's just about that journey. And I think I believe that you're either born confident or not. My dad said to me when recently as a senior, he said, what makes you think you should always be a CEO? I'm like, do you not remember telling me that this when I was a child? But at the end of the day, I never ask permission for who I am, and I never will. And if you're asking for permission, then you don't have the right. I guess you don't have the gut to be that CEO leading the charge. You should be a part of the team, which
It's
is
almost
okay
like when you
too.
were a little girl, if I'm hearing you correctly, he was not thinking of you as a woman yet. When it
Oh
sounds
no,
like he doesn't, like
no.
a lot of people from that generation might not understand. But my goodness, you're proving to the world that his guidance was good. Some of his early guidance
Yeah,
wasn't terrible.
no, I'm saying actually was really good
Yep.
for me because I'm just a crazy competitive person.
Yep.
And the idea of him telling me that I did X and then I was going to
Yep.
be a failure. I'm not a failure or anything, but it's quite common. It's a comedy thing now with my adult children who are now married to beautiful women. I keep just saying, can you just have babies for me? And they just look at me like, Mom, my wife is a nurse and she has a career, and did you expect me to not marry someone super smart? I'm like, no, but I feel that presence going into their lives and all their friends' lives, and I'm really proud as a
Should be.
mom or a
Yeah.
person to have such successful children and thoughtful people from being brought up in this crazy place of driving yourself to never compromise and being the best you can, and wherever you end up with that, then that's okay. That's your path, and my path has always been take the highest risk and somehow win at it. And a lot of times I say, you just fake it till you make it. There's a lot of companies I've started, no idea about the industry, but I'm smart enough to hire people to help me build teams to be successful. I still honestly think I'm faking it till I make it. We'll see how long
There's
I
got to be,
continue to
I'll
try to
tell
do
you,
this.
there's better ways of saying that because you definitely are. You said something to me once that really landed for me. It was, I jump off a cliff almost every day. Like you're looking for, and it's not that
Yeah.
you're a thrill seeker. You push yourself outside your comfort zone every day. Do you have anything really to add to that? Because I don't see everybody
Yeah.
doing that. And I see that as one of the reasons why you're so successful.
Yeah, that's just, it gives me chills just hearing you say that because that's the story I tell anybody because that don't understand the equity markets or this whole New York Stock Exchange things. Like, anyway, it's complicated. Stock market's complicated, but I live in a resort town, and a lot of my dear friends they work in the service industry, and they always say, Kimberly, I don't even understand what you do. All I know is you drive in your car and come in, give me a house, have a drink with us. And I'm like, I just jump off cliffs for a living. That's all I do. And they're like, what does that mean? And it resonates with them
Yeah.
because I live in a ski town where we're all crazy competitive. But really what that means is I wake up every morning excited about what I'm going to do that day. And whether I'm looking at my phone to see what's happening in the world with war and gold price, and you name it, or looking at my emails, and I sometimes look at my list, I'm like, woof, it's a really big cliff today. I'm gonna have to find that parachute on the way down. And that's how I take in perspective of everything I do. I will continue to have that until I'm tired. And that means I need to retire because I'm not having fun anymore. And
Yeah.
me standing on top of a cliff is fun to me.
Yep.
It just resonates very simple of what I do. I take risks all day long and I just have to come out the other side because there's no room for failures. It's a simple way of explaining to people that have no understanding of what Kimberly does.
The one thing is that the
under-
CEO of a public company is one of the hardest jobs you can have. There's constant
Yeah,
scrutiny on you, there's constant reporting, there's constant
yeah,
doing something, and it's a very hard job. And we see this all the time. And it seems like you're navigating it
yeah.
really well.
I don't like you're right. And the scrutiny side of things, ugh, it's hard to, there's certain platforms that you read stuff, and there's this one gentleman, I don't even know who he is, who clearly does not think women should run publicly traded companies and writes terrible stuff. And I can't look at it because that kind of negativity is not good for anybody. And I don't want any kind of that poison into my body. But I have a lot of shareholders that always defend me, and they'll send me screenshots of how they're defending me, and it makes me feel really good because they're people that hear me, have been shareholders for a long time, and they're happy shareholders, but they also know that I'm a person of my word. Like, I will put out news and go, we thought we were going to get X done this month, we're getting it next. I own up to everything. But yeah, no, it's not an easy job. All my other companies are private. You can only deal with one public company at a time because it is a lot of work.
Absolutely.
For sure. That's for sure. People are going to be curious getting to know you a little bit through this conversation. What some of your other interests or businesses are, if you don't mind. I love, if you don't mind my saying, that you and your husband have, is it a sailing apparel company? Because you love to sail and you're just an active person who tastes life. There's nothing that you're not doing being fully present.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm a serial entrepreneur and I sleep 3 to 4 hours a night if I'm lucky. My husband and I've always had clothing lines. I actually had a high fashion line before I got into mining. I fell into mining through making a 30 bagger in 4 months off as penny stock and thought I need to understand the industry. And our clothing companies are in sailing. My husband we both used to compete in skiing, so we're always in the ski clothing world, high technical gear, and both of us been professional sailors. We have 5 sailboats. We race them all the time, or rather, my people do because I haven't had time to sail lately. But we have clothing lines for America's Cup teams, things like that. We're really proud of that. And then I have an alcohol business with my business partner that is whiskey and pisco, and was actually started because of having mines in Peru. I wanted my own pisco because all my friends did, and I didn't like that they had something I didn't have. So that metamorphosed into whiskey and Spanish wines and Sicilian wines, and it really took off during COVID. Talk about hedging your bets. Like, you're drinking when you're being successful, and you're definitely drinking during COVID when you can't do anything, which is, I think, dangerous for everybody. But I had a warehouse full of alcohol. My friends, I'm like, yeah, just go get your cases and leave the money at the door. Like, I don't really care. Just, I got you. But it's a really fun business, and we now started it in Switzerland so we can distribute it in Switzerland. Just side fun projects. And then we have a lot of mining assets in another company. I have 2 teams in Latin America and the US that are prospectors, look all over for me for projects that I may want that we might use to put in another company in the future. And then we house them and figure all that out. So yeah, there's a lot going on, but my focus right now is Lahontan because it's taking up a lot of my bandwidth right now.
No, and you're so focused. You are such a focused CEO. And I know people listening to this can understand why I admire and respect you, but also why I want to hang out with you. I not only want to work with you, you're just, like I said, seizing the day and not missing opportunities. And Frank, when we were talking a little bit earlier today, I know you had a few other things that you wanted to ask Kimberly. Do you have anything else that you want to kind of wind things up
Well,
with? We could
listen,
probably talk the next 3 hours.
yeah, the story is great. Now I thought the dialogue was phenomenal. I'm looking forward to seeing it happen for you. That's really about it. You got a great
Thank
story.
you.
You have a great personality. I'd love to see you on our roadshow
Yeah.
circuit. It'd be awesome. And I think you would
I'm in.
I
Let's do
think you
it.
would light up the room,
No
period.
doubt.
Yeah,
No
let's
doubt.
do it.
That's exactly beautifully put. You will light up the room.
I'm serious. I think you'll do very well on our circuit. And we'll talk about that down the road. But it was
Yeah.
great having you on. Kimberly
Thank
Ann,
you.
Lahontan Gold. And where can somebody get in touch with you, Kimberly?
Yeah, first go to the website, lahongoldcorp.com. There's a newsletter you can sign up for. We do really fun pictures of the week every Friday so you can keep up with the crazy things that are going out in the field. My personal email and phone number is on the website. I don't believe in anyone not being able to get a hold of me, shareholders, etc. So just go to the website. It's all there for you.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Terrific. Talk to you soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye, Kimberly. See you,
Bye-bye.
Frank.
Bye. Take care.
All right.